Well, it seems the folks over at Fox News are starting to realize how destructive what they enabled really is. Brian Kilmeade is who I'm specifically focusing on this segment, but you'll see the Fox and Friends panel are all sort of struggling to run interference for Donald Trump. This comes in the wake of him choosing this gentleman to be his attorney general. If he can get the Senate to confirm this, or if he does a temporary appointment, we're going to have an attorney general, Matt Gaetz, the Republican congressman from Florida, who is one of the most absurd members of Congress. This is them pretending like this is just a big SNL skit, but it's not. It's the United States of America and the top law enforcement officer of the most powerful country in the world. And they're saying, let's put the guy who was just recently investigated by the DOJ for having sex with a minor, let's pick him to be the attorney general. So I'll remind you of some of the details about him as we go through this segment, but this is the least of what Fox hosts deserve, which is having to figure out how they bend themselves into the most ridiculous pretzels to defend Donald Trump no matter what. One of the hosts you'll see is, in the second clip I'll show you, visibly struggling to defend Trump, but trying. Brian Kilmeade doesn't really even try, and he just admits, this is a clown car. Here's the first clip. While you're watching, please remember to click that subscribe button if you appreciate this show. We've been working, and it's coming out today on something very exciting. And as we work on these new projects, invest in things that hopefully move the needle or provide you some interesting content, I'd appreciate you showing your appreciation, like I said, by clicking that YouTube subscribe button. Here it is.
Get confirmed. If he doesn't, there's going to be a lot of senators that vote against him.
Remember last year he was shaking things up by trying to get rid of the Speaker of the House and Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were upset with him because he was dividing the Republican Party during that time.
Yeah, I thought he handled it terribly. He blew up without any plan, blew up the whole House. The Miami Herald says this: I'm hearing a growing list of names who would not vote for Gaetz. This includes MAGA senators. Some staffers are telling this reporter they wouldn't be surprised if his name was pulled even before confirmation because there's too much blood in the water for any Republican's appetite. It could also be used as a negotiating tool by Thune, telling Trump senators will confirm other picks if he swaps out the AG pick. The other thing is, I also, when Susie Wiles took the job, you heard, she says, one thing I'd said is, I don't want to see any, the clown car. I always thought Matt Gaetz was in the clown car. So I'm surprised he'd be part of the starting lineup.
Do you think they worked out a deal to, sorry to interrupt you, do you think they worked out a deal to say, just get me out of the House, I need a reason to resign from the House because this ethics violation or
which he derailed
coming out?
by quitting.
Right, by quitting.
Absolutely. The problem for him is Washington, D.C. leaks like a sieve. Whatever is in that will leak. It's just the way Washington has always worked. It goes back to the Revolutionary days. What's interesting, though, and it proves the point that he was not necessarily on the radar as of 24 hours ago, 36 hours ago, because we had been told that the House made it very clear to the Trump team, you can have two members of Congress. And they took two. Elise Stefanik and also Mr. Waltz. So they had the two. Then out of nowhere, they take another one, and that's just endangering that tiny little sliver of a majority.
And you heard, this is Mike Waltz, not Tim Walz, whenever you heard that. The Republican Congressman Mike Waltz, who's going to be the National Security Advisor. Can you show this, Jada? Matt Gaetz, Attorney General. Elise Stefanik, UN ambassador. Now, Brian Kilmeade said in that clip, I thought Matt Gaetz was in the clown car, and I thought Trump wasn't going to nominate people who were in the clown car. Brian, Trump is the car. Okay? He's the clown car. Yeah, Matt Gaetz is in it. But Trump is the car altogether, all right? The wheels on the clown car go round and round all the way to Attorney General or something. The idea that Brian Kilmeade, after supposedly voting for Trump, that I'm sure he's regretting now, that he would be going, it's so weird that Trump, the crazy clown, would want to surround himself this go round with crazy clowns. It's almost like Trump promised that he was going to do that. And we said, maybe we shouldn't make him president again. And you said, nah, it's going to be great. And whenever he says the government should go after media outlets he doesn't like and he wants to use the DOJ as his personal weapon. And we said, that's bad. We shouldn't put someone in the Oval Office who says stuff like that. You went, he's exaggerating. Come on, it's a joke. He's making us laugh. And we said, I think you should take that seriously. And the Brian Kilmeades looked us in the eyes and said, nah. Regret it yet, Brian? What do you think an Attorney General Matt Gaetz is going to focus his time doing? Matt Gaetz, who resigned from Congress, this is the other big bit of news before getting to this next clip, resigned from Congress just after this news was announced, conveniently, days before the ethics investigation report was set to be released. What was going to be in this ethics investigation report? Well, the ethics committee in Congress launched an investigation into what the DOJ decided not to bring charges on, but there was definitely concerning evidence. And as I've said before, them deciding not to pursue a criminal prosecution is not the same as them disproving the claims they were investigating. It just means the DOJ, who has like an 88+% conviction rate, only brings cases that they're nearly 100% certain they can get a conviction on beyond a reasonable doubt, especially with someone as notable and powerful as a U.S. congressperson. So while they didn't bring the charges, the U.S. Congress Ethics Committee is tasked with making sure ethics violations aren't going on. And they've already found all these evidence and testimony of Matt Gaetz engaging in illicit drug use, going to these parties where a part of his broader conduct, there's supposedly evidence of his relations with a minor. And look at how Lawrence Jones tries to obfuscate from that.
Thing that I think has become into play that, look, I think criticism of Matt Gaetz and him being a firebrand is okay. He should still get,
Oh, a firebrand? A firebrand? Is that what you're calling this? A firebrand. He's just so passionate about 17-year-olds.
a vote
Allegedly.
and be able to defend himself there. I do not think it's fair to bring up what's happening in this ethics investigation when the Department of Justice dismissed charge. So if our chief law enforcement agency said there's not enough information to pursue a case, why are we turning it over to Congress in some investigation?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. If they were able, and especially under a Democrat, under Joe Biden, and they
and they said not enough.
Right, and with
no
him,
criminal charges.
Exactly, no criminal charges. And when he resigned from the House immediately, then the investigation goes away in the Ethics Committee.
Right, but the report has been written apparently, and Washington D.C. leaks like a sieve. And
I don't think that we should, and we are going to watch more of this. Leave it up, Jane. I don't think we should make assumptions based off of the looks of people. And also, Matt Gaetz makes me want to make assumptions based on the looks of someone. I'm not saying Matt Gaetz did it, but if he did, his face was a warning.
You can bet $1 to donuts if he undergoes the confirmation hearing process as is standard.
Well, I think
somebody is going to read verbatim from whatever it says.
I think Trump also wanted to pick someone who's been through investigations too, and what Matt Gaetz feels is unfair. He was unfairly treated, so I think that they can relate on that. And
yeah, they can relate on that and improper relations with women in general. Are you kidding me, Ainsley? Have just for the shortest little moment of time, I'm going to be just completely honest. I'm going to forget that the lights are on, the cameras, and I get paid to be dishonest. I'm just gonna, for a moment. Do you think that point makes any sense? Maybe Trump, actually, maybe the point does make sense, but why are you making it? Maybe Trump wants to pick someone who's also undergone investigations. Yeah, great idea. Like maybe they can relate on how Trump had a civil case where he was determined to have sexually abused a woman. Isn't that so interesting? We want our powerful leaders to relate on things like that. Oh no. America, dear America. WTF.
Well, I think
somebody is going to read verbatim from whatever it says.
I think Trump also wanted to pick someone who's been through investigations too. And what Matt Gaetz feels is unfair. He was unfairly treated. So I think that they can relate on that. And that was
to your point, Ainsley, I don't think they do themselves any favors. If you don't like Matt Gaetz, right, and you're planning on leaking this report, this is not going to help your case because it almost emboldens that side of the party that says, why are they coming after him if there was no criminal charges? So why would you go out there and leak information when there was not enough evidence to go to a trial?
Well, but we should point out, we don't know what is in the House Ethics
No, we don't.
report. Only they
I'm
know
saying
right now.
whatever is in it, it should not be leaked if there was not enough evidence to go to a trial. We shouldn't be leaking
Lawrence, what do you think's in it?
information to target political opponents, whether it is in favor of him or against him.
But it was going to come out if he stayed in the House.
Within a week.
Yeah, it was within a week. So we know this. The Wall Street Journal said bad choice. Senator Joni Ernst says he's got a lot of work to do. Senator Lisa Murkowski says not a serious candidate. So we'll see. This is going to be Senator Thune. And how hard is Senator Thune going to work?
This is going to be the toughest nomination to get through out of all the picks so far.
Absolutely.
Well, I think we can all agree he has good hair. He has a lot of good hair.
Yay, Ainsley, great point. Woohoo, haha, also funny. You know, it's interesting. It's interesting logic there. Because Lawrence Jones is trying. He must be using an insane amount of calories having to do the gymnastics in his head he's doing. Don't let the report leak. Don't leak the report because we don't care about what's in it. No. Don't tell us about evidence that the House has gathered about Matt Gaetz' wrongdoing. We don't want to hear it. Because that's... what is the logic? Clearly, you also agree we might learn some terrible things about Matt Gaetz or have them confirmed. Another random anecdote is that other members of Congress would have Matt Gaetz, without their consent, just walk up and show them nude photos of women that Matt Gaetz was sleeping with, and Gaetz would go, check it out. You know how bros do? Check it out. Look at this. Where? No. So strange. And then he would brag about mashing up ED medication and putting it in a Red Bull so he could go all night. Woo-wee! Party of family values. It's so strange. So strange. And this is who Trump wants to be, his attorney general. A guy who's had a tough time following the law should be in charge of enforcing it. And Brian Kilmeade goes, oh, why? This is so weird. I don't want the clown car in power, but I voted for it. Strange, Brian. If it looks like a clown, if it nominates people who engage with underage people like a clown, allegedly, if it sounds like a clown, it might just be a clown. And maybe you shouldn't vote for that. And clown's the nicest word I can think of, just using it because Brian Kilmeade did. So then why? Why did Trump choose him despite all of this?
Former Congressman Matt Gaetz tapped for Attorney General, which means Trump now wants the Senate to confirm a man that had been under a sex trafficking investigation to take over the very law enforcement agency that conducted that investigation, but never ended up charging him. Let's go now to CNN political analyst Mark Preston, who is joining me this morning. Mark, the question of the morning is whether Gaetz could get confirmed, and the answer among Republicans seems to be we don't know, very mixed at this hour.
Yeah, lukewarm, no question. But of course, as you noted, he was staring down this ethics report that potentially we were going to see released as early as the end of the week. Could have been very damning for him. But now that he has resigned yesterday as he was nominated by Donald Trump, again, lukewarm support. Now, this could be a play by Donald Trump to throw a stick of dynamite into the mix and try to rally his base as he tries to push through all of his cabinet nominees. But even if he does get some resistance within the Senate, there could be a bit of a civil war. Listen to what Tommy Tuberville, the senator from Alabama, had to say to those who don't get in line behind Donald Trump's picks.
I've already seen where a couple of them says, I'm not voting for him. Wait a minute. You are not the United States of America. You have one vote in the U.S. Senate. You did not get elected president. Vote with President Trump. This is the last chance we're going to have of saving this country. And if you want to get in the way, fine. But we're going to try to get you out of the Senate, too, if you try to do that.
I really don't like calling people dumb. Why on earth would your argument be the American people didn't choose you when they did, and a part of your constitutional power is to decide if you want to confirm the president? Have you heard of separation of powers, Tommy? No, the Senate doesn't get elected only to swear allegiance to the president. That would completely collapse our entire system of government. Tommy.
Now, I got to tell you, I just got off the phone with a senior Trump advisor. He tells me Trump is going to bring in somebody to burn down the DOJ from the inside, and Matt is going to do that. Conservatives believe that the DOJ is in chaos. Now,
well, it's about to be, for sure. If you were worried about Matt Gaetz as Attorney General, don't worry. No need to fear. Because the only reason Trump wants him is so he can burn down the DOJ from the inside. The DOJ, by the way, the Attorney General is at the tip top of numerous organizations that go after the most dangerous terrorists and criminals, sex trafficking operations, drug trafficking, murderers, serial killers. And they're thinking Matt of paying someone through Venmo publicly for allegedly terrible things fame. Matt of Red Bull Viagra fame. Matt of this face fame. That's the guy who should be in charge of keeping us safe and holding accountable the worst criminals imaginable, so that he can burn it down from the inside. Oh, goodness. And Scott Jennings, who has become famous for being ridiculous on CNN, he had an interesting response to this nomination.
Message planning for the Biden White House. Also with us, CNN senior political commentator and former assistant to President George W. Bush, Scott Jennings. Scott, I don't think I'm divulging or betraying any confidences to say that when we told you the news, you were in disbelief.
Are you not entertained? I mean, this is the most entertaining transition I've ever seen. No, I was as surprised as Paula, because it's not a name that we had seen. You know, we'd seen some reporting, a lot of different names, frankly, a lot of really sort of well-heeled Washington legal types that were on the list. So I'm as surprised as anyone. But what I take away from this is that this is a president-elect who is feeling his power. I mean, this is...
Quote, unquote, are you not entertained? Scott, I don't vote for a president who then picks important positions like Secretary of Defense, Attorney General, Secretary of State to be, quote unquote, entertained. I watch The Bachelor. the Golden Bachelor to be entertained. I watch football to be entertained. I don't want my president to entertain me like this. I don't feel entertainment value from thinking, are we going to be significantly less physically safe when we have a buffoon as our attorney general? That's not entertaining. That's scary. This is not a joke, Scott. You are. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I know you're going to have lots of them. And support this show. Get extra content by clicking that join button below where you get the daily bonus show.